I think you're Muslim, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, okay. And wanted to, because I'm interested in it, like how it affects, like even now, as you said, kind of your purpose and your job, and how it works. Does it have some, benefits or drawbacks, or how do you kind of think of it?
Yeah, right now at the moment I don't have like any problems because I understand maybe back in the days people are maybe a bit scared. They have to tell at their work they are religious because maybe they won't get hired or they can't do stuff that we have to do. And one example is like praying. So we have to pray like 5 times a day, and we cannot miss one before the other one is coming, you know. But if you're communicating at your job, you will never know what the options are, you know. So one example that I heard from a guy, he didn't tell at his job interview that he was Muslim and he has to pray. So he was doing it while nobody was know it. Nobody knew it, and he did it like in a empty office room at the same time, at the same moment. And after 3 4 months, there was somebody in that empty office room, and he walked in there and he said, "Oh, I just wanted to pray here and stuff." And you know what that lady said to him? "Oh, but we have like a special room for that. They didn't tell you about that?" And he was like, "No." And this is like when you don't tell things in the beginning, you don't know. So at my company at the office, we have like a meditation room for people who want to read or pray or meditate. Doesn't matter if you like Muslim or Christian, you know. So yeah, and right now it doesn't affect me at the moment, and that's good because like for example, I understand. I'm not living in a Muslim country. Not all the food here is are things that I can eat and stuff. But no, it doesn't affect me.
Makes sense. Actually, and even with the story you said, kind of the importance of communication, and asking and doing all of that stuff, because you never know, and kind of just the fear of kind of asking or failing or everything can kind of self sabotage you into going to this empty office room every time, kind of being scared if somebody is gonna see, or all of that stuff. And they had prayer room like in the building.
Yeah. So and that's the perfect example. The reason why there is a praying room is because there are already like people back in the days, maybe 60s or something, when the building was built. They they told it like at the job interview, and that's the reason uh, why there's now like a praying room, a meditation room, because they were communicating back in the days. So why won't we telling it now? You know, and it's very simple. If I have to tell it, a prayer is like 5 minutes. It doesn't affect anyone, you know. But it's just like me for myself. But yeah, I don't know. I see different countries. They're like a little bit strict about religions, you know. Not only Islam but also like Christianity, you know. So I saw like a video of someone who was telling like in their school break and where all the people get the food, you know. They were like folding their hands and praying, maybe for a test or something. And someone walked to them and said, "Hey, you cannot do this here." And I was watching that video. I was like, "But it doesn't affect you, you know. It's like for themselves." But yeah, if you're at the end of the day, communication is everything.
Agreed. And the Christianity, like most of it is praying before food is kind of a tradition that you kind of thank the God for the food. Or even if it was in the school, it's kind of probably more of that they were praying before the test, honestly. So yeah, it's kind of, yeah, if it doesn't affect you, like why are you Like, why is it so kind of triggering to you that somebody is doing this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you're big on this focus thing and trying to get into even this kind of stuff and hyper focus. And I wanted to know, like, what do you think about the flow state? Because I know that's a big thing. Even like with our mutual friend, like Tissat, we talk about this a lot and wanted to know your perspective.
Yeah, I think he's like making like also great videos, especially on the reels. And yeah, it's I think flow state it's very hard for you if you're experiencing it by yourself to explain it to somebody else, you know? They have to figure it out by themselves. And again, it's like getting rid of all of the distractions. I can, yeah, I can tell you, I can draw something, I can give the biggest benefits of flow state, but if you're not experiencing it by yourself, it's very hard. So, for example, if I am like working on my laptop, I have like my headphones on with noise canceling, and I have like a mental energizer. So in the beginning, I was like, "What is this? How how I'm gonna work with this sound?" But somebody said to me like, "Yo, after 7 minutes," or I read it in the comments. After 7 minutes, 8 minutes, you're gonna get in the momentum, and it takes time, you know, to get in the momentum. But I can only say like you have to experience it by yourself. And what I saw also in the book of Hyperfocus from Chris Bailey is that he's saying like you have to make like a kind of ritual for yourself, you know. So you have to couple things to do things. For example, drinking coffee. I love drinking coffee, and I also see a lot of people are saying like it's the best like normal drug or caffeine stuff. But for example, if you want to go like in very like in a focus mode, but you don't know how, just for example, buy your coffee, and when you are drinking it, after the moment you are drinking it, you're telling yourself, okay, now I'm gonna focus for 30 minutes. I told this thing to my sister, and she said to me like, I never thought about that, but I was already doing it. So when I have to study for my exams, yeah, I don't want it, but you know what? I'm gonna buy my matcha, and after I drink it, then I can study much easier.